for someone else, though, that might be enough. For you, that's not, and that's cool. But we're just saying, we're not trying to find what the 80 is.
Well, that's the difference. That's the difference is.
What you're talking about.
Brandon is saying we're not trying to define what the 80 is. What the 80 is. Kris is saying, what is the 80? So everybody.
No matter what the 80 is.
Every 80. Every 80.
If you getting your 80.
So what would be, so Brandon, what would be your 80? Just give us a couple things that would be your 80.
Loyalty.
That'd be my 80?
Talk about it.
Part of my 80 is that they love 90s culture.
Okay.
That's part, small, very minute small part of it.
So that's 10%.
That's part of it.
That's 10%.
Give me a couple other things.
No, that's way less than 10%.
I'm just trying to make a pie chart.
That's something different than somebody else's. I mean, like, you know, and there's a whole lot of different stuff there. All right, so people's 80% really don't matter because like my son's 80% is not going to be about 90s culture.
I know,
probably not.
I know.
No, we're talking about you.
But
we're talking about you.
Right now, we are asking for you. What is the 80%? Like me, I want somebody who enjoys live music in general. You don't have to be doing music. You don't have to be there every time. I want somebody who's gonna support me in what I'm in my pursuits, and vice versa. You don't have to be at everything. I don't have to be what you're into, or like on the scale that I'm into it. But I want you to kind of enjoy it. Hey, Audrey. So that's part of my 80. The other part of my 80 is having a partnership. If there's a struggle here at the crib, we work to get together to handle whatever that struggle is. So that's part of my 80%. What else? Family. Family needs to be of importance to you. Keeping in touch with people who've done well by you, and old friends, family members, stuff like that should be important to you. That's part of my 80. So it's different for everybody, but Elisha, well, you got yours on mute. So Allyse, what's some of in your 80 range?
I guess I could say, I mean, I don't know if I really believe in the 80-20 rule.
Oh, okay.
But if I'm going to answer the question, I mean, definitely having goals for themselves and actively going toward those goals, knowing yourself well enough to know, like, if you're in a situation where you are uncomfortable, you can communicate. Like, communication is big for me. Like, if you can't say to me, I'm upset because, or if I can't say to you, I can't talk to you right now, so just give me a moment to have, like, so I can have myself, like, my own whatever, and then we can get back to this conversation. Like, I'm somebody who's, like, if you have an issue with me, you come to me and we'll sit down, we'll have a conversation, because in that moment, it's not about me, it's about you and your feelings. So, like, that is really big for me as far as, like, what my 80 would be, just open communication and just being honest about, you know, how you feel. I mean, definitely having your own goals, and definitely not being afraid to try new things. You know, if I'm interested in going somewhere and it's something you've never done before, like, just try it, like, because I would be willing to try it if it's something I've never experienced before. So those are some 80s, I guess.
I guess if I had to say what my 80 would be loyal, truthful, and good sex. I really don't have to compliment it too much. Just please feed me. I mean, it doesn't. It really doesn't have to be that. It really doesn't have to be that complicated. Right. You know what I'm saying? I can talk to you. I can talk to you. You know, I can talk to you while I'm using the restroom.
Don't see that.
So, you know, just simple life stuff. You know, I mean, it doesn't have to be too complicated. I don't need you to have a 30-year goal to become a billionaire, because, you know, half the time we're going to be losing a bunch of money on that anyways. So that's your dream. I support you on your dream, but, you know, anything else, it's just like, you know, I just want the simple shit. Because once you start with the simple shit, and the simple shit is understood, it all seems to build up from there. You know, that's it. You know, because I mean, if I don't need to put these lofty goals on you for the get-go, what's the point? I'm setting myself up for failure.
All right. So Alicia, what's your 80?
Definitely loyalty. Communication is key for me.
Huge.
Like that is like my number one. Like if you don't have communication, then we cannot be together. Like period. Communication, loyalty, and growth. Like you want to grow. Like you don't want to be stagnant.
Exactly.
As long as you want to get up in the morning and grow from where you're at, that's all I can ask for you to do.
Talk about it, girl.
That makes everything else around you better. It makes me better. It makes your family better. It makes your environment better. So if you have a growing mind of wanting to do better, make yourself a better person every day, then we're good. That and communication is like that's my whole 80, because those two things can get you far in life. So
and that's all it takes, for real. Communication rules the nation.
Brandon, can you give us a couple more things to add to your 90s?
Oh yeah, sure, cool. How about
you gotta have a Pelly jacket?
Yeah. I think a big thing is being able to manage each other's triggers. Recognizing what those are and being able to support somebody with their growth and their either insecurities or whatever they got going on. Being able to support each other with that's huge. That's a big thing. That comes down to communication, comes down to understanding, compassion. I need someone to be intelligent. I definitely need that in my 80 is intelligence. I have walked off in the middle of conversations with some dumbass women that started a conversation with me, and I'll act like I can't. I got a nice meeting you out. Can't do it. Need someone who's culture
loyal
individual, loves learning new stuff. All right, someone who enjoyed new experiences. Because I can't stay stagnant with that.
Right.
Yeah, somebody funny. Need someone who can take a joke. Because I make a lot of jokes. Some of my jokes ain't like real PC.
Not funny,
I need someone that can roll with it.
Yeah.
I'm terrible with my jokes.
If
you haven't noticed already, you could probably see there's like I'm on level 2 just because it's my niece and shit. But if it's like my shit, my jokes are 10 times worse.
See, right? But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So since we talked about the 80, we might as well talk about the 20. So,
what's my 20?
My 20, like you guys mentioned.
You got me doing. I can't think of that.
Look, 20 would be for me, like y'all mentioned before, like communication. If we can't communicate, then that's like, and that's something you learn within the first date. Like whether usually you can figure out like, okay, this is going nowhere. So like communication is a huge thing, and then your willingness to reconcile. I mean, it doesn't have to be like if we fight, we don't have to reconcile that day. You might need a day or whatever. But like if you just don't want to reconcile at all, you've shut me out of your whole life because we had one argument.
Hey, bookmark that. Hey, Charelle, bookmark that so we can come back to that later.
About deal breakers. We're not talking about deal breakers because that's something about your 20%. 20% are the characteristics that you're willing to, live
frivolous.
With. Oh, you're willing to live with. You're right.
Yeah,
Brett.
stuff you're just not getting. You're like, they don't have to do this. I'm okay if I don't get
it. For instance, a 20 for me could be like a 20 for anybody, not necessarily me, but I've heard this before. Like 20 could be having a big wang wang. Like you can live without it. Like, you know what I mean? Because you have your 80%.
Most girls even like that.
You're right.
Most girls don't even like it like that though.
You're right.
Exactly. Thank you.
Ain't no girl gonna like dudes sitting there stabbing her with a 14-inch joint. Like, man, them girls would be like, oh no, put that thing away. What is you doing? Like, yeah.
I'm just be like, well,
that's a blessing and a curse.
Yo, it's only cool. It's only cool on TV, bro. But in real life, you ain't getting too much. Most of these girls don't like shit. They be like, I gotta go to work tomorrow.
It's a better problem than having the opposite. It's a better problem than having the opposite.
No, because look, because both extremes are bad. If you got a small penis, you God hated you. If you got a large penis, the devil hated you. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's all the same. Because you know, you're literally gonna have to, like, if you got an abnormally long penis, most girls are not gonna like you. Like, they're gonna be like, no, what are you trying to do? No, I don't even like with the seat on my bike, and you're trying to nail me with that? Like, that's not even normal.
So I'm going back to my 20.
Go back to your 20, boo.
Now that Brendan has he is right. I was going into deal breakers.
That might be that's a breaker. It might not be a deal breaker, but it's definitely a breaker.
It is a breaker.
I wanted to come back to, you know, you made me forget it too. I told you to bookmark it because it was something I wanted to expand upon, but I forgot about it because when she brought up Chippy tripod and shit, I was just like, yeah.
Oh, well, I mentioned reconciliation, communication. Those are some of the things I've mentioned.
There was one. If you said it, I know exactly what it was.
I think it was me saying that if you are just completely unwilling to reconcile, if we argue and you write me off for the rest of the
yeah. What do you think about that? Do you think people should let their arguments simmer until the morning, or should they just get it over with that night?
Okay, well, let me answer the first question first, and then I'll get into that. So then the 20, then now that Brandon added some clarity here, the 20 might be like, I don't really like smoking personally. Yeah. I don't.
And her whole family smokes.
Well, it's the truth. So that would be one of my 20s.
So like, she ain't marrying y'all.
Huh? So like,
it's a good thing you're not marrying your family then.
We ain't in Rome, brother. We are not in Rome.
So you're saying with like cigarettes, so you're saying that you could still deal with it, but it's not a deal. It's not an age, but it's something that you could.
Yeah, like I'll tolerate it, even though I really don't personally like it around me. So like for instance, my dad's a smoker. He smokes in the basement. That's his man cave. That's where he do in his space. So if I was to tolerate something like, I would tolerate something like that. You got your own space where you do what you do, and that's that. Same with like a gamer. Like, I don't hate gamers by any means. But you have your own space, your own time that you do what you do. And, you know, that's what you do with your leisure time. So that might be a 20. Like, you know, I'm trying to think. What would be another 20? I know one of my exes, he likes, you ever met somebody that kind of like it's funny when kids cuss, so they'll like prompt they toddlers to say certain things. And
I prompt other people's toddlers to do that.
Yeah, so like my ex, he would do that. I really don't like it. It is funny. I ain't gonna act like it just ain't funny. I don't like it. I don't like hearing kids cuss or getting comfortable with cussing and stuff. My ex used to do that, but that would be like in the 20 when we were together.
Don't introduce me to your kids. Because that's what I tell them. Yo, you don't even know me. Why you introducing me to your kids? So I might teach your kids all type of crazy shit just because you need to know better. You didn't know me. You met me at the gas station. Now I'm buying your kids candy and teaching them how to cuss. I got your daughter freaking a black and mild.
Oh now,
no! That's a joke. I've never did that.
So, Brandon, what's a couple of things?
All right. Tons of makeup. That's in my 20. I don't need a girl that likes to cake all her stuff on, but if she does it well, she feels like she needs to do that, then all right. But, you know, I don't need to have all that going on all the time. You know, it's just not something. I mean, if she got natural beauty, cool. I don't need her doing a whole lot all the time. Plus, it takes up time when it's time to go out. But that's what she needs to do for herself. Like you said, dudes like to play video games or smoke in the basement. Hey, if that's what you want to do, cool. But it's not necessarily something that I need to
She
have
just
happen.
killed like 70%, 75% of all guys. Everybody like to smoke in the basement.
Whatever.
You gonna be single, niece. You gonna be single.
I'm already single.
or you ain't gonna have a basement, nigga.
And so that's an example. I mean, you know.
All right, that works. Elisha.
My 20s would be, you know, romance.
What?
Like that doesn't
Like,
have.
what do you mean by that?
That's not a deal breaker. Like a man that like gotta do all that romance stuff. That's not a deal breaker for me. My man is so far from the romantic type. Like I'd be like, babe, why don't you buy me some flowers? He'd be like, because they die. Like that's him.
That's smart. Buy you a dead plant for
like
I'll get you an edible arrangement.
that
though.
ain't love. I'll buy you a dead plant.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, you know, but like he'll be like, I bought you dinner. And he was like, you're happy.
Hey.
So that's just him though. If y'all knew him, he's Mr. Funny Guy. So, but anyways, but that my other 20, my man is a gamer. I've never been a person that sits around and likes to do nothing idly. So that at first was really hard.
Are we talking about deal breakers or 20s?
No, we're talking
Because
about 20. Like
20.
it didn't. It's not the
Because
term.
I thought the 20 was the like that you looked at like the little the simplification of a relationship. Like,
right.
you know,
well,
yeah.
like what he likes to do for his pastime. So that's his pastime. So that doesn't that's not going to deter me from my already 80 of what I have with him. Like, you know, that little bit of his pastime that he likes to do is not a deterrent. You know, and neither is that, you know, romantic thing for me. That's not a deterrent for my 80%. Some people it is. Some people like to be wined and dined and you know, treated like a princess. Like that's not me. So for me, those things are not gonna deter me from, you know, my relationship. So I don't know, I'm kind of a simple person, so it's really hard for me to say what my 20 would be like, other than saying what deal breakers are.
What you did? We don't need like a whole bunch of them. Unc. What would be your 20 where it's just like
just some easy shit?
Yeah, this gets on my nerves, but I still love it.
Oh, you talking about shit that annoy me and I still love her?
Yeah, it's lightweight stuff.
Nah, I'm gonna give you the real if you gonna ask me.
Oh,
what is it like? Putting your cold feet on your back, like
loudness.
Oh yeah, Auntie is loud.
We're gonna start double loudness. I love her because she is loud, but she is loud. She is oblivious to some things. Like I could be doing it. She knows I'm doing this, and you know, to her credit, she hasn't popped out. But I had to put extra caveats on it. But if I didn't say that, she would be walking down in the background asking me something that's completely like you could have just waited. So really, that's it.
Allyse, what's up? What would be your 20 if you believed in 80-20?
Cigarettes, and then mental health. Like if you have like severe anxiety or depression, and it might be like disabling in a way, I could live through that. Like,
whoa, that's crazy because everybody got anxiety.
No, some people have crippling anxiety. Like they can't go out, they can't do anything. Like they completely.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, well, I feel you there though. But that's a different type. That's a phobia. That's not anxiety. That's a phobia.
Because it's when people don't get help for it. It's difference between.
Yeah,
But now,
like if you're unwilling to get help, I think that wouldn't even be a 20 for me. That's a deal breaker. If you're unwilling to even
nah,
try to get help.
Well, I mean, like if you're getting help and you're still dealing with it or having, just reoccurring episodes, it's depending on whatever the trigger is. Like, I mean, those are things that I can look past that. That's all.
so no man or woman in the armed forces for you. Because that PTSD you couldn't deal with it.
I didn't say I couldn't deal with it. I thought it was like if
It's in
like,
the
it's a
20
thing
though,
that you
where
could-
it's in 20.
Yeah,
You
it's
can deal
Yeah,
with
it's
it.
20.
Y'all confused the thing. The 20 is the visual things, the ancillary things that don't really matter to the situation. The 80 is the things that matter. Y'all moved to 20 and you're talking about, like, I don't even know what definition y'all are really using for the 20.
All right,
I just
so
answered it as far as how Charelle presented the question to me.
So
But
Brandon will break it down.
all right, so the 80% are the things that you're getting in your relationship that you need to be happy. Like you need, certain.
Okay, I got that
qualities in
aspect.
your partner, right? The 20% are qualities in your partner that aren't your preferences, but you will tolerate that and be okay, with them having those qualities.
right.
See,
so,
I was
if
looking at it
someone who's
completely
in the military has
different.
PTSD, I
You
could deal
still
with that.
answered it right though. Like okay.
Nah, because think about it, the way it, like, let me ask that question to y'all. If you're talking about the 80% that actually matters in a relationship, but you got a relationship because you fell into the 20%, which is the way I'm talking about, just the visual or just the presentation of the shit. What are some of the things that walk y'all down those roads?
Walk us down, meaning like
Like you would sit there and talk to this dude. Like I give you an example. A dude will talk to a girl because of her body, or a girl will talk to a dude because of his car. What are some of the 20?
I talked to many men because of they look good. Like,
yeah. What's some of
person.
the 20% that y'all done got caught up on, like that little simple stuff that you were like, man,
You're talking about like superficial type things that.
So I get what he's saying. So for me, he was crazy. He was crazy as hell. But I loved that about him. Like I loved his craziness, but then I didn't realize that his whole craziness was not what I wanted.
No, okay.
You
wasn't ready for that crazy life.
Right. I there was a whole new level of crazy on him. But
yeah, the 20% can quickly become a deal breaker.
Absolutely.
If it hits that mark.
Walk with me, people. Walk with me. What's your 20% be, Mike? That you don't fell with, that you wasn't supposed to.
That turned into a deal breaker?
That miss fat booty moment. That one that you do, like, man, you talk to her, you was like, man, she ain't worth a fuck, but I'm gonna keep talking to her though. Because maybe I can change her. Because you like the things you saw on her. Or that there was something about her, or she had this going on her.
Yeah, that was something, definitely the mentality you have when like you're in high school or college. And that's before you figured out what actually makes a relationship work.
It hasn't stopped. No, that's a lifetime problem, bro. Some people never get over that hurdle. They never beat that race.
I think when you're an entertainer, like myself, sometimes you
talk about it, Deej.
Sometimes you get caught up in the hype of being around another entertainer, so y'all automatically have a certain amount of chemistry because you're into the same thing and you're passionate about the same thing, but that don't mean that you guys really have chemistry for real and that you are compatible. So you get caught up in the hype of, oh, they're such a good entertainer, and they're so into music. I'm into music, and so
don't act like you didn't hear her question.
We shared our what you say?
Did they entertain you?
Yeah. I don't want to know. She asked. I'll mute this shit. You already know how I feel.
So I'll leave that there. Like
I want to ask Allyse, because Allyse, you had said earlier, like, you want that life partner, that person that you connect with. Have you ever had that like false connection with somebody that like it was like when you see him, you're like, oh man, we connect, and then like you start seeing the true them, and you're like, oh no, backpedal, like out.
This he was older, and I thought that because he was older, he'd be more mature and about his shit, and he was just as busted as like the dudes who were my age.
Talk about it, girl. Talk about it.
So there's that. You know, as far as like my 20 that I've like gone after and just went at like artists or like just ridiculously talented individuals, I'm like, oh man, I'm totally feeling them. And then we start talking and I'm like, oh, you're great at what you do. All right.
Right. Keep it
You know what?
pushing.
This just segued us into our next conversation because like a dude I met online, we were talking, everything was going well. And then he was like, I got a confession. I'm like, well, what's your confession? And he was like, I lived a life. And I'm like, well, what's the life? And he's like, well, basically, he had 2 girlfriends. He was in a polyamorous.
Oh, sure, I remember this.
Nigga, that's called high school.
So then, so we were, our first few weeks of conversation was great. Like, we were just preparing to see each other and everything was going well. And then he hit me with that. And so that is one of those 20s that we just talked about. But it also segues us into our next topic, which is like open marriages, open relationships, polygamy, August Alsina, Jada Pinkett scandal.
I'm not commenting on that guy shit.
Would you do?
Hey, look, that dude's crazy.
Wait. Would you do these things? And what's your thoughts on them? All right, now you have to go.
Listen, if my wife